Good morning and welcome to Unity North Tampa. My name is Mindy and it is so wonderful to be with you today. As we affirm love and light for all of you at home and everyone around the world, we also want to acknowledge and give a very special thank you to fathers and father figures out there on this Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. So today I thought we would talk a little bit about cooperation. When you are cooperating with people, you're working with them together for a similar goal, right? So the first step to make sure, in anything, in order to cooperate with things out there, our biggest first step is to make sure that we are aligned and cooperating with our God self, right? And as we listen to our God self, cooperation becomes easy and fun, because the more we're aligned inside, the more you can see the divine order established on the outside. You can see things working smoothly, the harmonious that is, right? Yes. So today I would like to affirm our loving nature by saying this affirmation: I am kind and loving. I cooperate with God. I'll try you one more time. I am kind and loving. I cooperate with God. We are always one, always aligned. So this kind of reminds me of a story in the Hebrew scriptures about Balaam and his donkey. Okay, so we're going to go over this story. It can get a little crazy. Some stories in the Bible get that way, but it's okay because they all have a really good message for us when we look deeper. Okay? So, we know the story of how the Israelites escaped the wilderness, and they were on their way to the promised land. So as they're traveling together, there's a king in Moab. His name is King Balak. We'll work on that. King Balak. There we go. So as they were heading towards the kingdom of Moab, the land of the Moab, he was starting to get fearful that they were going to take over his land and do things. So he sent out his messengers to go get Balaam. And Balaam at that time was a pretty well-known fortune teller of some sorts, and he was known that if he cursed something, it was cursed, and if he blessed something, it was blessed. So the king wanted him to go out and curse the Israelites so that they wouldn't be able to come near his land. And he sent messengers, and they brought all kinds of riches and jewels to tempt him and say, you need to do this. And at the time, Balaam was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. And then as he was, doing his thing at night, his little nighttime routine, he heard God's voice and he said, you need to go. So he's like, okay, so I do need to go. So he grabs his donkey, his trusted donkey that he travels all around with. And we remember donkeys from our stories of when Jesus, right? They're humble, they're hardworking, they're loyal, right? Okay, just remember that as we think through the story. So he goes and gets his donkey, and he's like, okay, here I go. And I guess in his mind, he's thinking, God wants me to go out and curse these people, right? So he's traveling on his donkey. Well, God actually sent these angels down, and it blocks the road. And the donkey sees this, but Balaam is not aware. So the donkey juts down and he goes this way. And Balaam's like, what are you doing, you silly donkey? What are you doing? You're not listening. And then his roadway is blocked another time. And the donkey backs up and he steps on his foot. And he's like, oh, you silly donkey. You're so silly. You're not doing anything that I'm asking you to do. And then a third time, this happened 3 different times. And on the third time, he got so angry with him that he started to whip his donkey, right? People do crazy things when they get upset. It happens. So and then at the time, he's whipping the donkey, and then God, as we so often hear in the stories in the Bible, steps in and gave this donkey the ability to talk, speak real words to Balaam. And the donkey says, why are you hitting me? Why are you doing this to me? And Balaam says, because you're acting so Why are you acting this way? And the donkey says, but haven't I always to you? Haven't I always been loyal? And something in that phrase, it clicked with Balaam. He was like, oh, he is always loyal. And at that moment, he was able to actually see what had been stopping the donkey from moving forward and blocking his path on his travel. And it was this angel. And the angel said to him, you need to only speak what I tell you to speak, what God tells you. Only do what God tells you. Only listen to what God is telling you to say. And you are not going to curse these people. You are going to bless them. And Balaam is like, okay, I'm listening, right? He's listening to his higher self. He says, okay, that's what he's going to do. So he did. He went up. He blessed them. They made it through, protected once again. And that was the way the story ends. Pretty wild, right? It's a little one harder to interpret and dissect on this one. But we can do it. So, while it seemed the donkey was being uncooperative with Balaam, he was actually working in his highest self. Sorry about that. I'm looking distracted for a moment. He was actually being the same faithful donkey that he always is, acting in his aligned manner, doing exactly what donkeys do, being loyal and faithful and humble. And it took Balaam's mind was on other things. He was doing this curse. He was ready to do this and get these riches, and he was thinking out there. Whenever you're thinking about things out there, you're not necessarily aligned and cooperating with your higher self, right? And it took that realization of Balaam to see that in the donkey's words of saying, listen, when have I ever not done what was right for you? For him to say, oh, you're right. And then realign and get onto his higher self. And then he was able to actually see clearly and hear clearly what he was actually supposed to be doing, how he was actually needing to cooperate with his higher self and do and listen to what God was teaching him to do. So, I want to go back to our affirmation that we are kind and loving and we cooperate with God. When we are being kind and loving, we are aligned with our higher self. We are in cooperation with God, and then we can see the divine order manifest in our outer world. Right? Same kind of concepts that we've been talking about for a few weeks now. So I'm excited to be able to join this with you on this Father's Day, and I'm going to leave you with our children's blessing. We love you, we bless you, you are a perfect expression of God. Thank you.